It's time for the whole 9 yards. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ralph Ventre, fired up and ready to go for another show. Let's get right to it. The first segment, our opening drive. All 7 Northeast Conference teams are in action on the Week 2 docket. Duquesne and Sacred Heart play their home openers. The Dukes, coming off a loss at Youngstown State, will welcome Bucknell to Rooney Field. Duquesne handled Bucknell 26-7 last year in Lewisburg. For Sacred Heart, they return to Fairfield, Connecticut after a season-opening victory over Stetson down in the Sunshine State. The Pioneers will take on Valpo, the second of 3 consecutive Pioneer League opponents for Sacred Heart. The season series against the CAA opens up with 2 games on the Week 2 docket. Central Connecticut will visit James Madison for the 3rd time in the last 6 years. Meanwhile, St. Francis, which is coming off an impressive showing out at nationally ranked Montana, will travel down to Maryland, where they visit CAA member Towson. The Red Flash dropped a 35-20 decision last year at Towson, but not before Lorenzo Jerome went 99 yards for a kickoff return touchdown. Of course, Jerome has been in the news lately, coming off a phenomenal performance, 196 kickoff return yards on 4 runbacks at Montana. Robert Morris looks to rebound from its season-opening loss when it continues a long-running rivalry at Pioneer League member Dayton. Wagner will play on Grimes Hill for the 2nd straight week. After a season-opening win over Division II St. Anselm, the Seahawks welcome Concordia from Michigan onto Grimes Hill in a game you can see live right here on NEC Front Row. And finally, Bryant, after taking care of business against Merrimack in Week 1, they head way west to Montana State. It'll be the first ever meeting between the Bulldogs and a member of the Big Sky Conference. It's also Bryant's first ever game west of Pittsburgh. So we've given you the full rundown on the Week 2 slate. Now, let's move on to the Stock Rising segment. Who is trending up in NEC football? Sacred Heart's Kevin Barry lost the last 8 games of the 2015 season due to injury, but he returned in a big way last Saturday when Sacred Heart visited Stetson. Showing no ill effects of the injury, Barry looked a lot like the player he was in 2014 when he helped the Pioneers to a 2nd consecutive NEC championship, logging 15 tackles for loss and earning 2nd team All-Northeast Conference honors. If you had any doubts about Kevin Barry, he's back in a big way. His stock is definitely on the rise. I don't know about you, but I could use a Twitter timeout. This week, we take a look at a tweet from John Casper. He's an administrator for the Big Sky Conference out in Ogden, Utah. Happened to be watching St. Francis at Montana last Saturday night, and he couldn't help but come away impressed with Lorenzo Jerome. Of course, NEC fans have become spoiled from watching Jerome over the past few years. In his first appearance since being named a preseason All-American kick returner, Jerome put on a show against the Grizz. He went on to win the Stats FCS National Special Teams Player of the Week award after totaling 237 return yards, a 79-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, an 87-yard return that set up another St. Francis touchdown. Oh, and he made a pair of picks on defense as well. So it's good to see John Casper confirming what we already knew in the NEC. Lorenzo Jerome is a stud. Somerset, huh? It's an NEC Audible. In this part of the show, we'll take a look and, of course, a listen to Bryant's run game. The Bulldogs graduated Rico McCray, the 2015 NEC Offensive Player of the Year. Paul Canaveri, who was a nice compliment to McCray, also graduated. So the main question is, who's carrying the ball for the Bulldogs? Head coach Marty Fine shed some light onto the topic.
Ryan Black was the starter and will remain there. Brendan will get a bulk of carries on first and second down. He reminds me kind of a mix between the two that we played with before. He's big like Paul and shifty like Rico. I don't know if he has Rico's pure speed yet. You know, he would like to say he does. I'm not convinced of that, but he's a really good player.
And now it's time for the final segment of our show, Did You Know? In this week's Did You Know, we're talking about kickers. Yes, St. Francis's Lance Giese hit a field goal in the first half against Montana, giving him 46 career makes. That ties him with Sacred Heart alumnus Chris Rogers for the all-time career mark. Giese's at 46, then Austin Crimmins of Duquesne is right behind at 45. But neither Giese nor Crimmins are responsible for the longest field goal in NEC history. Did you know the longest field goal in NEC annals came courtesy of Wagner's Peter Check? Check, who made 44 field goals in his NEC career, including 4 from 50 yards and beyond, went on to spend parts of 2 preseasons with NFL teams. 1 year with the Steelers, the other with the Ravens. Last year, Check was voted to the NEC's 20th anniversary all-time team, and rightfully so. So there will be a lot happening on the gridiron in Week 2. All 7 Northeast Conference teams are in action. We'll have 3 games here live on Front Row. Bucknell at Duquesne, Valpo at Sacred Heart, and Concordia at Wagner. Also, don't forget to visit us every Tuesday evening for the NEC Football Super 7 super plays from the past week in Northeast Conference football. For NEC Front Row, I'm Ralph Ventre. This has been the whole 9 yards. Thanks for watching and enjoy the games.